Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I have a story time for you. It is my student teaching experience. I should have told this way back when, but you know what? I needed time to get over what happened, and let's get into it. Okay, so I had actually student taught at my alma mater, my middle school that I went to. I had got an email in December. The guy that I was student teaching with, my cooperating teacher, or co-op as I will be referring to in later, I will be using that as use for his name, because I don't want anything to happen or anything. Anyway, so I had heard back from my co-op in early December, and one of my neighbors was a student at the middle school, and so I had him in one of my classes. So I had asked him, because I was babysitting at the time when I had figured out who my co-op was and where I was placed and everything like that. So I had asked him, I was like, how's your class? I'm like, out of a scale of 1 to 10 or a 1 to 5. He goes, I would give it maybe a 1, 1.5. I'm like, seriously? That's really bad. So I was like in for it when I heard that. I was like, okay, this is gonna be quite an adventure. So come time for when I had started, which was in January. Yeah, I started January 25th or 26th. They had an orientation for us, but that was canceled. And then we had just started into our placement. So orientation was supposed to be Monday, but it wasn't because it was like bad weather or whatever. And then Tuesday was our first day of placement. My first day of placement went perfectly fine. My first week went perfectly fine. I have a video on what happened during my placement the first week. I was gonna do weekly updates, but that never happened because I got so crazy, bogged down with so much work for my student teaching binder, and that stuff takes forever, guys. If you are a student teaching right now, you are in for it. It is a lot of work, But anyway, so I had started my placement, and my placement went perfectly fine all the way up until maybe the last month. Last month of my placement was a little rocky. Okay, so let's start off by saying my students, they absolutely loved me. They respected me. I go back to my alma mater to sub. I was just there today at my high school, not the middle school, the high school that I was at. But they love me. They still have respect for me to this day. They say hi to me in the halls. Like they actually like interact with me. They respect me. So it's more or less like, okay, I was a good teacher. You would think this, right? You would really think that I was a good teacher. Yes, you would think so. But like maybe 2 weeks into that last month, it was more or less like me figuring out, okay, I shouldn't be like, oh, I'm the best teacher ever just to impress my co-op. No, you don't do that. And that's where I fell short, because I was trying to impress my co-op, saying that, hey, I could do this because I also had him as a student. So I got to see him both sides. So I had him as a student, and he was absolutely terrible. I had him as a co-op and kind of a colleague. Absolutely horrible. So it's more or less like, I don't really like him either way. But I had to impress him because he thought I was a bad student because I didn't really do my work or whatever. But anyway, let's get back to it. 2 weeks into the last month of my placement, I had just kind of slacked off on my lesson plans, not really planning much because it was my last month and I didn't really want to do much with the kids. I mean, do you blame me? It was my last month of school, technically, because when you're doing student teaching ends, you're done school, basically. And then there's graduation if you're an undergrad. But yeah, so I didn't plan much for the kids, and that's where my downfall was, quote unquote. So I was teaching I was teaching, I think it was like first or second period, I forget. But it was early in the day. It was first period. Yes, I remember, because it was an aide that I absolutely did not like. And she had students in the class. I'll get into this. Anyway, so while I was teaching, while I was like walking around the classroom, seeing if anybody needed help, right? Because I gave them an article to read, something to fill out, and I kept them busy, which is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to keep the kids busy so that they don't slack off. I had done that. I had given them an article to read, pretty lengthy article, and it was 8th grade, so I was with an 8th grade social studies teacher. I'm not going to name any names, but if you know who it is and you're like my best friend, then yeah, you know who it is. Him and the aide were talking. So I was by the cabinets. So like his door is like right here, right? His cabinets are like right here. So like I was near this wall, and my hearing is so impeccable, it's like crazy. So the aide and him were at his desk, which were totally like opposite of, but like adjacent of each other. But kind of at an angle. Anyway, so they were talking, and I overheard the aide saying, "Are these her own lesson plans?" Ouch. And I was thinking about that, and I was about to like say something, and then he jumped in and was like, "Yeah, well, you know, they are her own lesson plans, and I've been telling her this, blah, blah, blah." I almost cried, guys. I seriously almost just left the room and cried because, one, I didn't want to cry in front of my students. Two, who does that? Who in their right mind does that to a student teacher who is still learning, still doesn't know the ropes, who doesn't know much about actually teaching a class? I'm sorry, but that's just totally unprofessional, and I couldn't do much because I was still a student. I was still a student. I was not an actual teacher. I didn't have my certification, so I couldn't do much of anything to help my case, besides tell my supervisor, and that's what I did. I told my supervisor what had happened, and he gave me the most worriedest expression of ever. He looks at me and is like, "I'm sorry. I am so sorry. That should never happen." And my supervisor, his heart was into supervising student teachers. He was teaching for 40 years, and I loved my supervisor. My supervisor was like the rock that like kept me going in student teaching, because he would come in and observe me and was like, "You're on the ball. You just got to do this like 2 or 3 things differently next time, and you will be fantastic." Like, he gave me the utmost respect, and that's all that I could have asked for. Because, you know, when you're student teaching, it's really hard to get along with your co-op, and I wish I had known this going into it, but I am here to tell you that you're not always going to get along with your co-op. You might butt heads, like I butted heads with my co-op, and it's like, okay, but where does the professionalism come in? Where does the not talk about you behind your back while you're in the classroom teaching come into play? Like, that was totally uncalled for, and the only thing that I could have done was wrote him a horrible, disgraceful review. And that's what I did. And I told my supervisor that's what I did. And he goes, "That's the only thing you could have done." So hopefully, from the people who are going to my college alma mater, I hope you don't go to where I went, and I hope you don't get the teacher that I had, because you're in for it. You're in for a horrible semester, and if he talks bad on you, I am totally sorry. And if you're having the worst time student teaching, I'm sorry, sweetheart, but it does get better. I'm subbing right now, and the cutest thing happened today. I have to tell you guys because it's so adorable. Oh my god, my heart like went out to the student. Okay, so I was a para IA today. So I was with a student in a wheelchair, and this kid, he's so sweet, very like quiet, but like not too quiet. I forget what happened, but like he was in a wheelchair and he was like paralyzed, so he couldn't walk. So he gets the courage to type up this one little like sentence to his one friend, and it's so cute because he asked her to go to homecoming with him. Oh my god, I can't even do it. The feels, oh my god, it's the cutest thing ever. And like this if you think she said yes, and comment below if you think she said no, and comment why if you think that. I'll wait. Do 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 do. Okay. She said yes! Ah! So cute! Oh my god, so adorable. I had to tell you guys because I was freaking out and I get the goosebumps all over my body. And I was like, so what did it read? And she read it and she was so excited and so happy. And she's like, well, do you have a pen for me to say my answer? And I was like, oh my god, this is so cute, because obviously I knew what was going on and everybody knew what was going on around us. And her friend was so sweet. She's like, oh my god, let me get a picture. And of course, she said yes. She said yes. And I had asked the student what she said. And I was like, oh my god, congratulations. Like, I was like the literal fangirl of the day. I was freaking out. Obviously, he was like all smiles. And I was like, yes, something good happened. My faith in this generation has been restored. Oh my god. Okay, I'm done for this video. This video is too crazy right now. Oh my god. Okay. I'm just rambling and saying okay. Oh my god, get it together, Kelly. Get it together. Okay, I love you guys. Stay beautiful and positive and do something magical. Okay, bye. Thank you guys for watching this video. Oh my god, I am so sorry it was so long, but I had to tell it. Yeah, I had to tell you guys the stories and my journey, and I love it, and I love you guys. Okay, thank you for watching again, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.